What's up, guys? It's Man 491 here on Hard Luck Real Talk with my boys ManofBing and the Steelers.
So
then you guys say, "What's up?" You know,
so
we don't flip the people off. God damn it!
well, he's drunk. So
Anyway, we're here to talk to you guys about the Madden ratings today. Every year they seem to be a little bit more fucky, so we're gonna dive right into it. And here we go. We're gonna start with a little game I like to call High or Low. We're going to start with a couple players, and we're going to say, you know, whether we think their ratings are high or whether we think they're low. They're going to have some stats below them to kind of help our judgment, kind of see, you know, because a lot of people will judge a player but not always know what the real stats are behind the player. So here we go. We're going to start with number 1, Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown had 136 receptions for 195 targets, 1,834 yards, a 13.5 yard average, 10 receiving touchdowns. He also had a return touchdown. His longest return was 71 yards, and his Madden 17 overall rating is a 97. What do you guys think? High or low?
I think he's just where he should be.
yeah, I think he's perfect. I think he's perfect. I think all the stats prove
I hate
it.
fucking Steelers. That's a good rating.
Yeah, 97 is perfect with me as a
Now,
Steelers fan.
As a Steelers fan, you can be okay with that. As a Falcons fan, wearing my Julio Jones jersey here, I'm a little upset about this rating. Basically, the reason why I'm upset about it is because Julio Jones had a better receiving season last year, stat-wise.
Okay. So let me throw your point out the fucking window.
Here's my thing, though. Hold on. Give me a second.
All right, go ahead.
Julio Jones and Antonio Brown had very similar seasons. Julio edged him a little bit. I'm not going to say that Brown's not a good player. I think they should be both 97s. I think they should both lead the overall rating. I think, yeah, at the end of the day, it's just nickels and dimes, and it doesn't really matter. It's just one overall point. But at the same time, Julio Jones had the second best receiving season in history, and he's only a 96 compared to Brown's 97. That is my argument with it. I don't deny that Brown's not a good player. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that Julio deserves to be right up there with him.
I'm okay with Julio having the same rating as Antonio Brown, but defending Brown about his season not being as good as Julio's, Ben Roethlisberger did not play every game with a baby. He had Landry Jones for a couple games. He had Michael Vick play, and then in the playoffs he got hurt and didn't start for like half the Broncos game. So I mean, I don't have a problem with Julio.
But
being
to be
97.
fair, in those games, Antonio Brown had like 10 yards that Landry Jones played.
Yeah, that's like, you can look at the stats when Ben plays quarterback with Antonio and when he doesn't. It's not.
But to be fair, Antonio Brown still had the targets from Landry Jones and Michael Vick, but just could not succeed as well without Roethlisberger.
All right.
I don't think
I'm be honest here. How in the fuck does Antonio Brown and Odell Beckham Jr. have, like, Antonio Brown has a higher catch rating than Odell Beckham Jr. No fucking way. No fucking way, dude.
Excuse you?
Here's the thing.
All right, I think it's ridiculous about how great
Antonio Brown should have a higher catch, but Odell Beckham should have a higher.
He can have a spectacular. Yeah, like
Exactly.
Odell Beckham. Yeah, he can have a spectacular catch. But if you're talking about overall better wide receiver, it's Antonio Brown. Same thing with Julio Jones. Julio Jones is a better all-around wide receiver.
Odell Beckham Jr. had a better year than his rookie year, and everyone was fucking freaking out about his rookie year.
Okay. The only reason Odell Beckham Jr. got on the map was because of that catch he made.
Yeah, I mean, he really.
Don't tell me it was because of his stats.
Dude had 1,400 receiving yards his first year.
It doesn't matter.
Josh Gordon had 1,600.
Are you telling me that, like, there was...
The only reason Josh Brown can't fucking stay on the field is because he's too fucking busy smoking the dank.
Who? Wait,
Just
who'd you
saying.
say?
Josh Gordon had 1,600 yards his rookie season.
Josh
Nobody's
Gordon?
fucking talking about
all
him.
I'm saying is, the reason if you look at Odell Beckham Jr., nobody said Odell Beckham Jr. is this awesome wide receiver now because of his stats. They saw that catch he made, like, oh my god, best catch all time. He's a wide receiver.
Beckham Jr. stats, dude. He had 1,500 receiving yards this year.
To be fair, I agree with Michael here.
Saying his catching should be higher than Brown or Julio or whatever.
I'm just saying, like, the top
putting a spectacular catch higher. Yeah, I'll agree with spectacular.
To be fair, I agree with Michael here in the fact that I had never even heard of Odell Beckham Jr. until his fucking spectacular catch. And then he went in and had like 2 touchdowns the next 2 games and won a lot of people fantasy championships. A lot of people.
It's kind of the same thing with like Larry Donnell. Like Larry Donnell, he was like that tight end for the Giants. Like nobody knew who he was. He had one great game, and then everybody knows who Larry Donnell is. That
Kevin Boss back in the day.
Kevin Boss. Where's Kevin Boss now? He's gone. I mean, he didn't have a career after the Giants.
My thing is like, okay, on a lot of waiver wires at the end of the season, Odell Beckham was still there. Why? If he's this just amazing receiver, his rookie season, why was nobody there picking him up before that catch?
I'm not denying that he's not a good wide receiver.
Playing as a bunch of fucking retards in it.
He's a good wide receiver. I'm not denying that. I just don't think that saying he should have a higher catch rating or a higher this over arguably the 2 best receivers in the NFL is like.
Julio Jones beats Antonio Brown in the physicality of the game.
Well, no shit.
But
that's because he's 6'5".
Well, yeah, I mean Julio's 6'5".
That's why I kind of agree with Michael. Antonio Brown's a better receiver because he's small, but he still fucking makes it work.
But that's just saying. Yeah. I mean, that's like saying like fucking Jerome Bettis is better at being a running back than Ray Rice because he's bigger. Like there's no way to compare the two like that.
I do think.
Compare Jerome Bettis and Adrian Peterson. Who's a better running back?
Adrian Peterson.
Like statistically ever or like...
Can't compare statistically ever because Adrian Peterson's not done with his career ever.
Okay, well, when he's done with his career, I guess we'll bring it... Well, like, I mean, you just said, like, I don't think...
Adrian Peterson's still going to be the better running back at the end of his career anyways. He almost broke the fucking rushing record by fucking...
He needed 15 yards,
I honestly don't... I mean, I think Adrian Peterson's going to be one of the best running backs of all time, but you realize Bettis is also 5th on the all-time rushing list.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really make the comparison physically because there's nothing they can do to change that.
I mean, you can compare... I mean, at the end of Adrian Peterson's career, I'd absolutely compare he's the better running back. But, like, don't even put Ray Rice and Jerome Bettis in the same conversation.
No, I know. I'm saying that was just the physical comparison, not the actual stat comparison.
By the end of their careers, who's going to be the better receiver? I just think Odell Beckham Jr. is. If he keeps up what he's doing, he's going to be the better receiver.
Better than who? Julio or Brown?
Brown. Both of them, probably, to be honest.
No. Yeah. He's too much. He gets hurt too easily. He's going to get knocked out by an injury. I can see it now.
I feel like what Odell Beckham Jr. is good at that gets him on the map. He'll make some really crazy play that'll get him a bunch of yards, and he'll have one of those games. But the thing about Brown, like that always you can rely on, you can't rely on Beckham for this, is like Brown has like a 30-game streak of like 5 receptions for 50 yards like every fucking game.
Here's my thing, too.
Consistent.
When you've got Eli Manning who's on his way out, is Odell Beckham going to have the kind of quarterback that's going to get him those yards? Or, Matt Ryan's still in I believe he's in his late 20s, early 30s. Ben Roethlisberger's what, like 31?
He's 33. But I think
they still have years left. Eli Manning's on his way out.
4 or 5. Yeah.
To me, I feel like Odell Beckham is good. But I don't think he's going to have as good a career as Antonio Brown and Julio Jones. I just don't see it.
I think... What?
You forget Julio Jones is only, like, what, 28, 27?
I think Brown is, about the same age, so...
Exactly. Odell Beckham Jr. is only, like, 23.
Yeah, I know, but what we're saying is, like, Eli Manning is older than Ben and Matt Ryan. He's on his way out, and Eli Manning isn't good isn't that great. He's an okay quarterback.
He's not that great anyways, and he's still, like, Odell Beckham Jr. still gets as many receiving yards as he does.
You're right, but
he
you
gets
gotta look
the targets, too. Now that Sterling
else?
Shepard's there, he's not going to get that many targets.
Larry Donnell, I mean, that's about it.
My whole point is, Odell Beckham Jr., no matter what team he goes to, he makes quarterback look great. It's just...
I'm not denying he's good, but Josh Norman shook him. And Josh Norman's not that good.
Josh Norman shook him, but Odell Beckham Jr. still had a fucking game that time when he played against him. He still had a really good game. It was just that one time that they were fucking fighting each other, and Josh Norman took a cheap shot on him. I'm an Eagles fan.
Well, that's another thing. Like, you gotta keep your composure. Like, you can't it's like that whole thing. Like I think it was like 20.
Keep his composure though. Like Josh Norman took a cheap shot on him.
Okay, but it's like the same thing. You remember when Cortland Finnegan and Andre Johnson had that game where they were
Andre Johnson whooped his fucking ass.
Not stat wise.
Yeah,
it
but
seems when you
at the end of their career, who's going to remember Cortland Finnegan? Who's going to remember Andre Johnson?
I don't think Andre Johnson he drops a ton of passes anyway. Like I
bet Andre Johnson will remember Cortland Finnegan.
Yeah. I mean, what I'm saying is, like, it seems like every time the most popular corner in the league plays the most popular wide receiver in the league, the wide receiver gets shit on. Like,
it's like,
right,
okay,
Sherman,
it's like Richard Sherman back in the day when he was the most popular, and everybody's like, oh, he took out Crabtree. Who the fuck was Crabtree?
Crabtree's shit, though. Crabtree's nothing compared to OBJ.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
we're not comparing Crabtree to OBJ. I'm just saying, like,
if Sherman took on fucking OBJ in that game, no shot. OBJ would.
I don't think Sherman's that great of a corner. I think he's a good.
That's my point. He's just a loudmouth talker, and that's the thing. As a defender, you just got to be confident in your fucking skills. So you're going to be a loudmouth and try and get in the head of a fucking wide receiver. But the fact of the matter is, in that game, OBJ still fucking whooped his ass. Even though Norman took cheap shots on him, he still whooped his ass that game.
All right, moving on. Now that we're done talking about Antonio Brown and 9 other subjects, let's move on to another player that I personally feel is underrated in the new Madden, and that is Devonta Freeman. Here's just a stat line for Devonta Freeman. Rushing yards, 1,061. Rushing touchdowns, 11. Average yards per carry, 4.0. Receptions per target, 73 for 97. Receiving yards, 578. Receiving touchdowns, 3. Fumbles, 4. Total loss, 3. First downs, 88. Madden 17 overall rating, 86. High or low, guys?
I don't think that's fair, to be honest.
Honestly,
1,639 all-purpose yards, 14 total touchdowns.
I'm just gonna say the Falcons haven't had that one running back on the map since Michael Turner. We can agree on that. Like,
agreed.
When Michael Turner retired, you guys brought in Steven Jackson.
End of his prime.
I mean, after I like Steven Jackson. Like, after the Rams, he wasn't as good as he was on the Falcons.
Oh, he was at the end of his rope.
Yeah, I know that, but I mean.
See, here's my thing. Here's why I think he's underrated. He is around Giovanni Bernard, Matt Forte, and LaShawn McCoy. Now,
I really, before you go on, I really feel like those 4 running backs, including Devonta Freeman that you just named off, those guys are like I'd all place in the same category. Honestly,
no, Giovanni Bernard's not even close, man. Not even close.
I wouldn't say I wouldn't say he's like close.
I think Giovanni Bernard is overrated in Madden. Not that Devonta Freeman is underrated.
See, I think Devonta Freeman should at least be a 90. When you look at a running back, hold on, hear me out. When you look at a running back, and this goes for PPR leagues, this goes for Madden, this goes for real life. When you look at a running back, what are the 2 main things you want a running back to be able to do? You want him to be able to fucking run the ball and catch the ball. 2 things Devonta Freeman can do. If you look at the top 10 running backs in the league, every year Jamal Charles is a receiving beast. Adrian Peterson catches passes, not very many, but he does, and when he does, he takes off with them. Arian Foster, Lamar Miller, David Johnson,
Le'Veon
Bell. All these top guys are pass, they're pass catchers. They're receiving backs. Marshall Faulk back in the day.
It's not that I don't
all
think
these running backs that are catching the ball and Devonta Freeman's got 3 receiving touchdowns.
Is this Freeman's first season as the complete starter at running back?
Yes.
Okay, I will tell you why 86 is I think the appropriate rating. Since this is his first season, I believe he did very good for his first season stat wise. Whatever, just all the stats you name up. I believe he did good, but for a guy like you named off Matt Forte, not Giovanni Bernardo, but who was the other guy?
LaShawn McCoy. They all had shitty
McCoy.
years comparatively.
LaShawn McCoy and excuse me,
Forte.
What's his name? Forte. They all last year. I mean, they've been in the league longer, and that's why I believe. And they've been dropping off. I'd say like LaShawn McCoy with the Eagles, definitely better than he is now. Not even close. Matt Forte a couple years ago was better. I remember Matt Forte being like the MVP discussion, like he was a beast running, and then he kind of dropped off. But Devontae Freeman, I feel like it's a good initial rating for him since it's his first start season. Next season, what he does this season is literally going to give him the higher level rating next season.
See, and I agree with that kinda, but I also feel like Ezekiel Elliott has never played an NFL down in his career yet, and he's already an 80 overall.
That's because it's the Dallas Cowboy.
But I don't care. He's never played an NFL down. Devonta Freeman has played 2 years now.
I don't
understand how there are so many Dallas Cowboy fans all over the league. Not all over the league, all over the entire United States. Because what have the Dallas Cowboys really done? It's always because Jerry Jones overhypes his players.
I will say
Ezekiel Elliott's good. I'm not going to lie to you. He is good. But he's not...
Here. But how do you sit there and compare Ezekiel Elliott and his college stats to pro stats?
It's like Jameis Winston. It's like Jameis Winston.
That's a good example.
Yeah, but Jameis
about you can't compare college stats and put that into the NFL ratings. This is what I'm gonna say. I think this should be fucking written in stone for Madden. No matter how good the fucking rookie is, the rookie must be under an 80 overall. Must be under an 80. He'd be a 79. It doesn't fucking matter. Even if he's the first overall draft pick, I think he should be under an 80.
That's why I don't understand. How do you give a guy like Jared Goff what's Jared Goff?
76 or something like that, 78.
How do you give a guy like Jared Goff, number one pick, a 70? I think he's actually 78 or 77, and then Carson Wentz is a 76. How do you give those guys a lower rating?
I'll tell you why.
To be fair, Jamarcus Russell.
I'm not saying.
No. I'm not saying that. But how do you give a quarterback who's a top pick a lower?
I'm not saying it's
like the 5th or 6th pick.
I'm not saying it's fair.
Because running backs and quarterbacks are rated differently.
I'm not saying it's fair, but going off of what Mockman just said, literally the QBs tell me that the QBs and the running backs don't get the most spotlight. So they're going to be criticized for every little thing. If you're a linebacker or a D lineman, they're not going to rate you the same. They're not going to be like, oh, well, let's look at every little detail. Or O lineman that just got drafted in the first round, they're
going to be a 73 overall.
Yeah. So I said, I think every rookie, every rookie every year, I don't get really excited about because they don't really excite me. I always get disappointed with some of the first round picks every year.
Here's my thing. With excuse me, with the ratings and stuff for the rookies. Quarterbacks, and this goes for the MVP award and all that. In Madden, you never see a defensive player win the MVP. But you also never see an NFL player defensively win the MVP. Very rarely does it happen, but it has happened. Madden, you could have 30 sacks in a season and force 19 fumbles, and you will not win the MVP because quarterbacks and running backs dominate that thing. And wide receivers are the same. Wide receivers never win the MVP because they're not, you know what I mean? There's no discussion for wide receivers being MVPs. And that's not right. I think any player other than maybe offensive line should be considered for MVP. And that's not to say that the offensive lines don't do their jobs and there aren't really good offensive lines, but offensive line stats are hard to compile because it takes an entire offensive line to protect a quarterback. it doesn't take an entire core of wide receivers to catch a pass.
Yeah.
It doesn't take an entire core of quarterbacks to throw a pass. It doesn't take an entire core of running backs to run the ball. That's why offensive lines aren't typically discussed in MVP races, because they're more of a unit than any other position on the field.
I think we should probably move on to the next player. We've been kind of rambling about the ratings of rookies a lot. We just finished with the.
Now, let's move on to a team, and let's kind of talk about how we feel about the way overall ratings on teams are calculated. I'm talking about the Patriots.
Here we go.
Now, the Patriots are rated the best team in the AFC. Not by far, but still the top team in the AFC. Here's their ratings. An offensive 89, a defensive a 91, but their overall rating is an 87.
All right. I'm going to stop you there. Listen to me. Literally for the past 10 years, the Patriots have been rated the best damn team in the game, even though they don't win the Super Bowl, or the best team in the AFC. It's ridiculous. But here's my thing about that. How can you rate the Patriots defense a 91 overall? A 90?
That was my whole point.
A 91? Are you serious?
91.
Okay,
91.
Let's look at their secondary. Name one person in their secondary that has made a serious play besides Malcolm Butler that just changes their fucking season around. Malcolm Butler literally is the only well-known cornerback that actually matters on the defense.
Do they still have Brandon Browner?
Name a safety, name a D lineman, and name a motherfucking cornerback. Nothing.
Besides, Vince Wilfork is gone.
Gerard Mayo's there still.
Yeah, Gerard Mayo.
Linebackers. They have good linebackers, but that's it.
I can't
they have
believe
Ninkovich on the line. He's good.
I cannot believe that they're a 91 overall defense. That is so overrated. It's unbelievable.
Oh, I agree.
The Carolina Panthers are like an 89 defense, and they have Luke Kuechly.
What damn game were they looking at last season that the Patriots played, that their defense played so damn well they deserved a 91 overall rating? What game last season?
The first game of the season against the Steelers?
They didn't even do that good. Brown had over 100 yards receiving.
Wasn't it 31-13 or some shit?
It was it was 21. It was 28-21 was the final.
No.
28-21 was the final. And that game, I don't remember
Look at
the
Eagles
picture.
game. Their fucking defense looked like fucking shit against the Eagles.
I feel like, dude, it's ridiculous. It's like, how? Okay, yeah. Let's take the Eagles game. They lost.
They lost to the Dolphins.
The Eagles hung 40 points on their defense.
Exactly. They lost to the Dolphins.
The Eagles.
The Eagles with Sam Bradford, Darren Sproles, and rookie and one-year receivers destroyed their defense in week 13.
Now, here's my question: how do you guys feel about the fact that their overall is only an 87? Their defense.
I think it's fucking. I think it's. I think
their
it's
defense
good
is a 91. Their offense is an 89, but somehow their average overall is an 87.
Yeah. Well, we were going to talk about that too. I brought this up about the Steelers. Overall, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. They do it really weird. I don't get it. But I think it's finally good that the Patriots aren't rated over a 90 every single year. But I still think the fact that their defense is a 91 overall rated defense. Some of the individual player ratings on their defense is so ridiculous. It's I don't even know.
How do you feel about the Chiefs? How do you feel about the Chiefs defense being a 93?
I agree.
I think the Chiefs are more deserving than the Patriots to be a 90.
The Chiefs have a great defense. They had a rookie fucking receiver last year.
They have a great secondary. They have a great D line, and they have a couple good linebackers.
What was the fucking quarterback last year?
What, the cornerback for the Chiefs?
Yeah, he was a rookie, and he had 11 interceptions.
I don't know. I don't really follow Chiefs corners.
Isn't Justin Houston's on the Chiefs, right?
Yeah. Well, he's not a corner. Justin Houston.
He's a linebacker.
You had Rod
Johnson, Tom Bahali, Eric Berry, that rookie cornerback. Can't remember his fucking name. They have multiple defensive pieces.
I feel like it's just it's just biased at this point. Like, the overall doesn't really matter in Madden. I mean, we said that. Like, obviously we know who the two best teams in the game are going to be. It's going to be the Patriots, and it's going to be the Panthers. And I'll tell you why it's not the Broncos. First of all, just because they don't have Peyton Manning. Second of all, because
so many pieces this year.
Every year, the Patriots, like I said, always are the best damn team to play with in Madden. They're always the best team. They're best rated. They get very, 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 very hyped up. And I don't believe every year that they're the best team in the NFL. If you win the Super Bowl, yes, your team should be the highest rated team. I agree. You are the best team in football. Guaranteed. That is true.
Not necessarily.
I'm saying, like, the Patriots have been literally the best team in Madden to play with. And, like, until up to this year, we're, like, the not highest overall. Like, they've been the highest overall for almost every year.
Oh, I agree with you.
But it's 91's ridiculous. Chiefs with a 93 overall defense, maybe bump it down. I mean, 91 and 93.
If anything, the Patriots should be like an 87, 86 defense, and the Chiefs should be a 91 defense.
Yeah, the Chiefs should be about a 91. I don't think it should be a 93, but at 91, they should definitely take the Patriots. The Patriots should definitely not be a 91 overall defense.
Okay. So
I think we're rambling.
As we discussed, the Panthers are the number one team in the NFC. Their ratings are a 91 offense, an 87 defense, and an 87 overall.
Okay, see, that pisses me off there. How can you make the Patriots a 91 defense and not the Panthers a 90? I mean, was Josh Norman worth those 4 overall points? Like, is that it?
They lost their best corner. Their next one down.
But I
really
still think their defense is good, even without Josh Norman.
It is, but it's. I mean, it's like if you took Cam Chancellor out of the Seahawks.
I still think the Seahawks would still have it.
Cam Chancellor. They still got Earl Thomas.
They got Michael Bennett.
They still have Michael Bennett. They still have Richard Sherman. Like,
no, I understand that. I'm just saying if you take a major key out of someone's defense, it's gonna drop.
Yeah, but not by.
Not 4. It's not worth 4
was
overall.
Nobody before the beginning of the season.
I want to know what. Hold on.
He's a 97 overall.
I want to know what the Panthers' original defensive rating would have been if Josh Norman was on their team. Because if it was any higher than like 2 overall, I think that's ridiculous. I don't think that. I think, you know what? Chiefs, fine. Keep the Chiefs at 93. Patriots, you swap overalls for defense with the Panthers. Panthers should definitely be a 91 overall defense. But, yeah, that's ridiculous. Their offense, okay, I'll give them that rating. I'll give the Panthers that rating on offense. You know, I think Cam Newton.
I mean, Cam Newton. Yeah. Who's their running back? Is Jonathan Stewart still their running back?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jonathan Stewart's still there.
Who's rated higher than fucking Devonta Freeman?
He's not terrible. He's not amazing, but he's not terrible.
Like,
and they got Kelvin Benjamin coming back this year. Or not
Devin Funchess.
Brett Olsen.
Panthers were an 89 defense last year.
They have a really good offensive line.
Okay. Well, but yeah, Moff, there are some people on their defense that also, like, I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you took the roster they have this year and then put Josh, like, when the game comes out, that's what we'll do. We'll put Josh Norman back on the Panthers. We'll see what their defensive overall
is. Here's the thing. I'm looking at the Madden stats from last year and the Madden stats from this year, and the Panthers really haven't changed. They have an 89 defense, an 89 offense, and an overall of 87 in Madden 16. And in Madden 17, they have an 87 overall, a 91 offense, and an 87 defense.
Yeah, but you got to
think... So they gained 2 points in offense and lost 2 points in defense. And I understand that because Josh Norman's gone.
It wasn't just because of Josh Norman, because they've made multiple... Like, not every player on the defense in Madden 16 stayed to be in Madden 17 on that defensive roster. Josh Norman was not the only person to leave.
I know.
They've added more people, too. It's not just Josh Norman.
But if you take a 90-something overall and replace him with an 80, it's going to change your overall. I mean, it's.
Okay, but I think like what I'm saying is they shouldn't drop, like, whatever the overall would have been if Josh Norman was on the team in Madden 17 to 87. I honestly think they should be at least the 90.
Josh Norman's a 94 in Madden 16.
Okay, well, in Madden 17, he's like a 98?
97.
97, something like that. That I definitely think that the Panthers should be a 91. They should honestly take.
All right, we're gonna talk about Josh Norman being 97. How many cornerbacks, after they had an amazing season, come back and have another amazing season? Doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen.
Well, I mean, older
Champ Bailey.
Not in like recent history, but not
Darrelle Revis.
The only quarterback who's been consistent is Darrelle Revis, and why is he getting so much hate in Madden? The kid, I mean, Darrelle Revis should definitely be a 98, 99 overall. He's the best cornerback. He's proven it time and time again, no matter what system he goes to. Is he's Revis.
But the thing about Madden is that it's not rated on career stats. It's rated on last year's stats. It's not.
Keep Talib.
It's rated on overall body of work, and it's rated on last year's stats. And what it comes down to is Darrelle Revis had a good year last year, and he had...
Yeah, Darrelle Revis is only an 89 on here.
Exactly. He that's so much hate. He should not be under a 90.
I still think he's going to get bumped up if he does good this season. Like, he's not. I mean, the ratings change. Like,
that's so messed up. Why do they have to? Why does Madden have to go? Oh yeah, we screwed up on our initial.
Because Madden bases all their overall. I'm not agreeing with it. I'm just saying Madden bases off all their overalls for the year by what happened last year. So say like, I don't know. Like, do you remember Joe Flacco? You remember the year the Ravens won the Super Bowl?
Oh, yeah, and then he was...
Do you remember how great he was in the next Madden, like his overall? And he didn't even do good that next year. Like...
Peyton Hillis.
I mean... Yeah, Peyton Hillis. He was on the Madden 12 cover, and he's never been heard of again. So, honestly, I think we...
Well, Madden covers popularity.
Darrelle Revis is actually the number 7 corner, tied with Desmond Trufant. He has a 91 overall.
That's so messed up.
He has a 91, though.
Desmond Trufant and Darrelle Revis aren't even on the same level.
All right, we should probably change players.
Easy.
It's true, though. I mean, I know you're a Falcons fan, but it's true.
Okay, so... Would you agree that the Packers should be the number 2 team in the NFC?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Who's the number? Okay, so, I mean, the only other team in the NFC that I think should be close to them for second is the Cardinals, maybe. Cardinals.
Yeah, dude, the Packers, Aaron Rodgers.
I didn't say the Packers should be number 2. They should be number 2. I'm saying the team are the Cardinals third in the NFC.
Right, the Cardinals should be the closest, but even then, like the Packers are still
Seahawks.
To be fair, the Cardinals did beat the Packers in the playoffs last season, though.
Actually, I agree with Seahawks rating. I do agree with Seahawks rating. I do agree with that.
I don't think the Seahawks should be higher than the Cardinals.
No, they shouldn't be. Cardinals are the 4th. The only problem is Arizona had a hard time with the pass rush last year.
Yeah, but...
Okay, but even with that...
Cowboys are the 5th.
That's ridiculous. That's fucking ridiculous.
They have an 89 offense and an 83 defense. The sixth team is the Lions.
Alright, what the Cowboys and the Lions are 5th? Okay, yo, do me a favor, Moth. Tell me what the Steelers' offense and defense is real quick in comparison to the Cowboys, because the Cowboys are an 89 offense.
Okay, Cowboys are 84, 89, and 83. Remember that.
84 defense, 89 offense. All right.
85, 93, and 81.
Okay.
So a 93 offense and an 81 defense.
For the Steelers?
Yeah.
And the 93, and what's our overall?
85.
What's the Cowboys overall?
80, I think.
Go check.
It's like an 83, I thought.
Hold on. 84, actually.
84? Bro. I'm not even...
That's what... Let me tell you something. EA is so biased towards Cowboys. How do you give the Cowboys that rating? No matter if Tony Romo came back or not, how do you give the Cowboys that rating when they finished last in the division last year?
Okay, so there's multiple teams that are 80s. Saints...
Okay, let me ask you a question.
How are the Falcons below the fucking Lions?
How are the Lions and the Cowboys 4th and 5th best teams in the NFC?
Okay, maybe these aren't in order. They can't be. Well, they kind of are. Because there's the Bears at 74. They're the
You're gonna
worst.
sit here and tell me the Cowboys are better than the Redskins.
The Bears are the worst team in the NFC. But here's the thing. I don't understand that because the Bears added a lot of defensive pieces.
Well, last year they were god-awful. I mean, they've been god-awful.
But they've added talent.
Yeah, but that's
The 49ers are rated better than the Bears.
Who's added talent?
49ers and the Bears.
They added Trevathan.
So?
49ers are fucking shit, dude.
And
They're
that,
still...
Alright, so the worst team in the AFC.
The worst team in the AFC besides the Steelers is...
Yeah, good one.
The worst team in the AFC is... the Browns. That was obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Followed
okay.
by the Jets, the Dolphins, the Jaguars, and the Colts.
Alright, so do me... Yeah, the Colts.
No, listen. What I'm not saying is why does it seem like the AFC ratings are true to life and then the NFC ratings are biased as hell? You're gonna sit here and tell me that Andrew Luck is not a better quarterback than Tony Romo.
He is a better quarterback, but I think
He
it's
wasn't
just rated
last
off.
year.
Well, he wasn't. I mean, you can't. Well,
play.
you can compare. Well, like because like they do it by like last year, but I'm saying you couldn't compare them by their stats last year because Romo was out for the whole.
I'm just saying, how do you give the Colts a lower rating than the Cowboys?
Maybe I honestly just think because Andrew Luck just had the shittiest year last year.
Get this: how are the Oakland Raiders an 89 offense, an 85 defense, but only an 84 overall? Are you kidding?
I honestly, the Raiders get a lot of hate in this game too because they've been bad for so long, and now they're finally getting Derek Carr, Latavius Murray, Amari Cooper, and they got fucking Khalil Mack on defense. They got is Vince Wilfork with them?
No, he's with the Texans.
80, I think 85 overall defense a little too high. Maybe like 82 or 3.
Well, they added Bruce Irvin
defense
too.
Might be a little too high, but they do have Khalil Mack.
Yeah, okay, but like you can name 2 people: Bruce Irving and Khalil Mack. That's
They also have Alden Smith.
Okay.
Who's arguably one of the best defensive linemen / outside linebackers in the game.
Okay, well, you got defensive linemen. That's it. I'm just saying, like, I don't really care. I think the Raiders or whatever. I mean,
if anything, they have the right rating on defense, but they might be a little overrated.
Here's my thing: if you're gonna rate a team overall, shouldn't it be adding the offense and the defense together?
That's what I said.
But here's the other thing. I guess when they released their table of how they rate players, the weighting is different. So, like, defense weights less than offense for some reason, which makes no sense because we all know defense wins fucking Super Bowl championships.
Fuck yeah, let's look at the Ravens. Look at the Broncos.
Exactly.
Look at the Steelers.
Exactly. So why does defense weight less than offense? Makes no sense.
Just because it's more, I guess it's more popular. Like, nobody really, I mean, tell me, like, people, like, really think.
I guess if you got to think from a Madden perspective, when the hell does defense win you something in Madden? I mean, let's be honest.
Oh, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Not true. Playing as the Buccaneers in 2003 when they had John Lynch.
And Warren
I think it's more just the offensive line sucking and user error that makes the defense win the game. But, I mean, that's kind of like... But I think what's the next player that we got to do?
All right, guys, let's move on to a player by the name of Ryan Shazier. Now, according to you, Michael, you had a lot of opinions on this.
I do. I mean,
Let's look at the stats here. 23 solo tackles, 32 assisted tackles, for a total of 55. His combined tackles are 87, 3.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, a fumble recovery, an interception, and 4 passes defended. His Madden overall, a 79. Let's discuss.
Now, all right. So, first of all, I want to point out that the Steelers always have consistently good linebacker core. And I definitely would say that if you rate, what was it, 79?
Yeah.
Ryan Shazier 79?
79 overall.
After that, and after the season he had last year, a 79 overall is a little ridiculous, especially since our number one linebacker is an 85, and that's James Harrison. I think 79 is completely too low. I think it's absolutely completely too low. That's ridiculous. Like, it's honestly ridiculous seeing it. Other linebackers who are not as good being higher ratings. Being a 79 is way too low. Like, I don't think any of you can disagree on that.
Honestly, in my opinion, I think it's not the fact that his rating's too low, but the fact that they're really hard on linebacker ratings in this game.
They really are this year.
Extremely hard on linebacker ratings this year.
Except Luke Kuechly, but it's deserved. I mean, he is a 99 middle linebacker.
And they led their teams both to the Super Bowl because of the defense. So it's understandable.
You're right.
At the same time, when you bring up the stats of Shazier, he does not have as many. He's not a prototypical linebacker. He's a speed linebacker. He's an edge rusher instead of plug the hole up for the run. He doesn't have as many tackles as some linebackers. I think that's why.
You're right. But
let me finish. He does his job effectively in the Steelers' defense.
Yeah, okay, but would you agree that every Steelers linebacker except for James Harrison should be below an 80?
No, because here's the thing. James Harrison, I think even this past year or 2 years ago, his rating was like a 75. He had a terrible rating.
No, I don't think he should be lower. I'm just saying I don't think that every Steelers linebacker besides Harrison should be below an 80. I think Shazier, honestly, should not be a 79 or 70.
I could see Shazier being like an 83, 82.
I'd be okay if he was like an 83 or an 82, but I think 79 is way too low.
It definitely is, considering as he's probably I don't think James Harrison's your guys' best linebacker. I don't think. I just the best linebacker.
He's really good at making big plays, and he's really good at having if he has a good game, he's gonna have a great game, and that's what he's good at. But overall, I mean, no, I think probably our top two linebackers are Shazier and Timmons, but honestly, Shazier should probably be about an 83 or an 82.
That's another thing. I don't understand why Timmons is lower than James Harrison.
Yeah, he's a 78. I don't get that either.
And unless, I don't have the stats pulled up, but I don't.
Shazier's forced to play a different position because Timmons plays middle linebacker, but Timmons I don't really understand.
Honestly, God, though, I think that's the Steelers' fault because, Timmons is fast too, but I believe Shazier is faster than Timmons. And if you put Shazier at middle linebacker, since Shazier is not never mind. I think like I said, he's an edge rusher. So
yeah, what they do, they put James Harrison on the left, they put Shazier on the right, and they rush whoever, which I think is deadly. But I like that.
Harrison's the strong side linebacker.
Yeah, Harrison will just. Well, obviously, I'd rather have Harrison on the strong side.
He knocks people's dicks in the dirt.
Well, he's the run stuffer. That's why he's the better run stuffer. While Timmons is the edge rusher to get sacks. 3.5 sacks for a linebacker isn't amazing, but it's not bad.
Especially considering that most of your sacks come from the defensive line.
Yeah, our defensive line is honestly
typically the better linebackers that have the most sacks are your Lawrence Taylors and stuff like that.
Well, Marcus Ware when he played linebacker.
Yeah, that's another reason I think the sack total for our linebackers is down this season is because our defensive line wasn't that good until about this year. This year, our defensive line got Stephon Tuitt came out of nowhere.
You guys lost Dick LeBeau, didn't you?
We lost him, but this was their first year without him, Keith Butler. But
I think your defense, Dick LeBeau is one of the best defensive coordinators ever.
Arguably, yeah.
So,
I like Keith Butler. It's his first season. It was like that. It was the same shit with Todd Haley. I hated Todd Haley for the first 2 years because we were so bad on offense, and it was that same thing. They'd make Ben throw the ball 3 yards every time. They'd make him throw it as soon as he gets the ball. They'd put him in the pistol formation. It was trying to run an offense. It just doesn't work.
Right.
I digress. Like I said, easily above an 80. Probably about 83. I agree.
All right. It's a pretty good discussion. Now that we're done talking about some players, I'd like to talk about Madden, the game, just in general. Apparently, EA Sports is putting a lot of time and money into improving the core game. Mostly on offense, it seems like. It seems like defense is getting a little smarter, But as we saw with Madden 16, we really didn't see a whole lot of defense winning championships. Defense kind of lacked the last couple of years.
And I think that follows the game. I mean, look at the NFL nowadays. It's all offensive, man.
True. But you still have your shutdown teams like the Seahawks and the Broncos and stuff like that.
Well, at the same time, it makes it frustrating because,
nobody wants to see a 7-7 game in overtime twice.
Right, and Madden takes it to the extreme. Like, it's either I always feel like in some games on Madden 16, it's either my defense shows up and it's like a close game, or if it doesn't show up, I get blown out of the water because I can't keep up with another team if they're exposing my secondary or exposing my defensive line with the run game. So I don't know. I think Madden, the game is offensive, but I think Madden takes it to the extreme to where if your defense lets one play go, your whole defense is destroyed for the rest of the game. They can't bounce back. They can't get the momentum back.
Yeah, I can see that.
Honestly, if I had to say anything about all these updates, I'm just going to say one thing. Madden 15 and Madden 16 are the same game. You can't deny it. Literally, the only thing I can think that's different is the different catching. 15, they didn't have the run after catch, the possession, the aggressive.
Well, the one-on-one wide receiver, cornerback.
Yeah, I know that. But every year, Madden does the same thing. They'll make you pay for $60 to the game, and they'll do an update. It's literally it's like that for every year. It's not just Madden. It's really not just Madden.
No, but here's the difference about this year's game. Last year's game, they added one small gameplay update that really it made the game better. It made it feel more like an NFL game because you see the cornerback and the wide receivers reacting, but it was also extremely overpowered too. If they could balance that out, which I think the ball physics are going to balance it out. I mean, I think you're going to see more interceptions off tips, which is realistic because you see it a lot in the game today.
I still think Madden is they're not trying to make the best game they possibly can. And
they're not, and that's because
they're not going to.
There's no competition. They don't.
I know they're not going to.
Have to make the best game they possibly can because there's no competition.
Yeah, because when 2K was out, the Madden games were legit as hell.
Yeah, they were.
But anyway, now there's been some improvements on offense, and I'd like to talk about this. I've got a couple pictures up here on the screen. One is a hurdle move by a really, really good running back, Todd Gurley, last year. I think he's going to have an epic season. And I also have a juke move over here by Jamal Charles on a Broncos defender. The moves in Madden 17 have become just legit. I watched some gameplay trailers today. I watched a few gameplay footage from people that were flown out to EA Play in Los Angeles to record some first half gaming, some second half gaming, some overtime gaming, and the moves look legit. They've got a new guide that shows you which direction the running back is going in to hit the lanes. They show that you can do juke moves now that are context based. So whenever you come up on a defender, the thing will pop up above your head saying to juke left, juke right, back juke, whatever. There's also some new break tackle animations. There's a fight tackle kind of thing where you run up on a defender and a button will prompt you to hit that button and you'll break the tackle. How do you guys feel about that? Do you think that that's a good improvement? Do you think that makes it a little bit too cartoony? Do you think that kind of helps the run game a little bit? Because I feel like the run game in the last couple of years has been a little lacking.
I think it's a good improvement for the simple fact is now it's not completely random if you break a tackle. It's kind of skill-based. I think they could have done better with it, but it
gives everyone an opportunity that's not particularly maybe good at the run game to become good at the run game.
It adds less random moment break tackle. I've seen some tackles that are broken in Madden 16 where I'm not trucking the guy. I feel like I break more tackles when I don't truck someone than when I do.
Yeah, I feel you on that one.
Honestly, what I feel like is all this is gonna do is gonna allow people to break 38 tackles like you can do on Madden 16. You can look up any video. Literally, you can break 10 tackles in a row and run 80 yards for a touchdown, and it doesn't matter. They can't tackle you.
I don't think it's going to be like that. It's not going to be like every time you run up to the defender. It's probably going to be like maybe the first defender you face, and then after that, it's whatever.
To be fair, though, let's look at the aggressive catching this year.
Well, before you get to that, here's one thing they need to fix. There's something they need to focus on. Fix the goddamn hit stick. Like, fix it. It doesn't work. It does not work.
The truck stick barely works too.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't work anymore. Like even if you have like,
timing has to be too perfect for it, and the way the players move, like sometimes their motion.
There's just too much cutting.
Their momentum. So like sometimes when you're running, the momentum just like doesn't happen. Like your guy can be going this way, and in a snap of a fucking finger, just be like that.
I agree. There's too much cutting.
Like there's no momentum, and without even using the skill stick to like juke someone.
Look, here's another thing. Like with new physics, new like game changing stuff. Like honestly, it's just gonna come even more new like EABS. Like tell me you haven't encountered that 100,000 times in every Madden game. Like I'm not prepared for it. Like because look. It's going to be exploited, just like how Madden 16, like you were going to, started with the aggressive catching. You can just lob the ball up, and if your guy's 6'5", you just hold triangle, and there you go, 80-yard touchdown, done. You win the game.
And it breaks the game online, honestly, because there's sometimes that second of lag, and that's the second that your cornerback magically stops running, and that guy makes the catch every time, or you've got a guy that. You know, you've got Richard Sherman, and he's got fucking the third string wide receiver for the Bears, and he's catching one-handed passes over Richard Sherman.
Yeah, but you don't know if they're gonna fix that year. They haven't announced anything about I don't know if they've announced anything about improving it, but if they did improve it, then it'll change the game completely. It'll make the game.
Well, no, I know that.
The thing is, when I was watching the gameplay videos, they actually talked about it, and they were showing the different catch animations now, and they've actually toned down the aggressive catch this year.
I have watched some of the gameplay videos. I have seen some ridiculous aggressive catches, like Hail Mary, Odell Beckham Jr. on like Josh.
You know what they need to do? If you're going to make an aggressive catch, the multiplier of the chance of your guy to get hurt should be multiplied, because that way you actually think about the aggressive catching then.
They actually have added, like, when you do a hurdle, there's more of a chance you're going to get hurt.
See,
they've added it to where, like, if you do like an aggressive catch into somebody, or like a hurdle and you miss it, or like a juke and you juke right into a hit stick, you have more of a likely chance of getting hurt now.
Well, that's perfect then, because you actually think about it then, because if you're going up for an aggressive catch, say Calvin Johnson's retired, but Calvin Johnson goes up, gets absolutely legs taken out from under him, lands on his head, he should be done for the game. Like it happens in real life. He's not coming back from that, especially if he's landing on his head.
Like honestly, like final thoughts from me about all this new stuff. It's not enough to get me like so pumped up for the game. Like I'm actually excited for it.
Oh, I agree with you. I'm very hesitant this year too, because I wasn't originally going to buy Madden, because I was going to wait like a week or two and see how the game actually works. But I'm looking at gameplay, and it's the same game graphically, but it seems like they're improving the core gameplay, and that's more important to me than graphics.
But
to throw it back, All Pro Football 2K7, the physics system, perfect. I mean, I'm telling you, viewers, right now, look up All Pro Football 2K7 if you have not seen it. The last football game by 2K Sports.
That was the one with the legends, wasn't it?
Yeah. The physics system, I can still play that game today and have so much fun with it, because the cutting when they run, the throwing, like you can't have your guy drop back 20 steps and then expect to throw a bomb down the field. You'll get picked off every time. Like you actually have to think about and have a strategy how to move your players.
Honestly, my favorite football game is probably 2K5.
That is a really good one.
It did seem, and I was watching gameplay, that the quarterbacks in the pocket, the momentum actually applies to them now, which I think is going to help with people who just roll out of the pocket like me. Because it's like an exploit in the game. You get a scrambling quarterback, you can roll out of the pocket and create extra time.
But like, honestly, just all these like new physics, it's honestly EA tells us, and everybody does this every year. They get really, really hyped up to like, oh man, they're really. I'm not saying you're wrong, but like everybody goes every year, man, they're really looking good. They are really working on this game hard. They are going to make this perfect. And then when you play it and you just want to just not play it, like I remember this year in Madden 16, like I had it, and I remember a period from like November to like probably May, I didn't play it because it was just unplayable. And then I just started playing it again, and
Yeah, but I don't think if you're looking at Madden and thinking it's going to be a perfect game, knowing EA Sports.
I know that, but that's why I'm like, I'm not saying it needs to be a perfect game, but like people like say it's like, oh man, all these new features, they're really working on their core game and stuff. It's like, yeah, but wait till it drops, because I'm going to tell you, it's just because they fix things and make things better, and make things like features that you really want to work with, it's not going to be perfect. Plus, another point I want to make, because I'm like really taking up a lot of time, is I do agree that Madden 17 should be better, and I'll tell you why. Because Madden 16, they didn't really focus on the physics. They really focused on like HUT and draft champions and all those game modes and making those good. They did not focus on anything else besides that. Like, because the most popular game mode is Madden Ultimate Team. I don't really play it. I don't really like it. It's not.
It's alright. I mean, I play a little bit, and I played quite a bit in 15 and 16, and I really like it, but it does, buying the microtransactions in it kind of ruin it for you.
I honestly only play franchise.
Coming from a guy who doesn't really play the Ultimate Teams, and really, I mean, even in FIFA or NHL, I don't even really play the Ultimate Team modes. Like, I'll maybe touch it for a little bit and be like, "Oh, this is cool," and then drop it because
it's too boring.
It's monotonous. You play, you try and get a better player, you take a chance on attack, or you spend money just to get him.
Yeah, exactly.
It's honestly too.
That's it. And then you get the best team possible, and then what then? You're in the top division.
That's why.
There's no point.
That's why.
So, that's why I don't really play it, and it sucks coming from my perspective, because I'm sitting here and I'm seeing all these improvements and draft champions and that to Madden Ultimate Team, because it makes EA Sports a shit load of money. That's why they do it.
$650 million.
I mean, EA.
That's the core of the game. That's probably most of the work is going into Madden Ultimate Team because it brings back the most money.
Yeah,
but at the same time, it sucks coming from someone who doesn't play, because you're like,
exactly.
Oh, they got all these improvements, and all I got was a new catch system in Madden 16. Cool.
Yeah.
Now,
actually, that's why this year,
one thing I'm looking forward to this year is franchise mode. Now,
getting rid of fucking connect.
I like it every year. That's the only thing I play.
See, well, here's my thing about it. They've added new, it's called big decisions, contract negotiations. You can set your own coach goal, and you have to meet that goal, or there's a possibility you'll get fired. Free agency is handled differently now. There's injury replacement big decisions where, for instance, Peyton Manning was hurt last year. Do you go with Peyton Manning and risk him being, a higher risk of getting hurt worse? Or do you go with Brock Osweiler and take the risk of not making the playoffs because of that game?
I mean, it's about time, because like NHL, they did the same thing with NHL, and I mean, like Madden's like a couple steps behind like franchise mode, like not comparing the two because they're two different sports, but like the same features are sort of being added into that.
It's pretty similar across all of EA's games.
But
talking about across all of EA's games, Madden needs to bring back an actual superstar player mode. I miss when you could actually get endorsements, when you could, the better you got in your career, the more money you earn from your contract.
Star in movies.
Well, Right, but there was also like your apartment would upgrade to like a mansion or a house after a while if you signed a big contract. Like subtle things like that immerse people in the game.
Like that thing from NFL 2K5 with all your trophy room, and you could
yes,
do that.
I liked that.
So
the
cool.
MLB 2K games had it too.
At the helmet mode, you could actually play like as if you were at the football.
My crib is like the funnest place in that thing. Like I remember that it is so fun. Like just to like look around.
The thing is, the NFL kind of controls Madden now because I miss the helmets popping off. I just watched a game the other day. Some dude's helmet flew off, and it's like
they need to put that back in there.
Why did they take it out? They're like, oh well, the NFL doesn't want them to have a bad image. And it's like, well, it happens in the games. How do you?
Well, I mean, bad image. They just canceled a preseason game because the field was too unsafe. Like,
because here's the thing: if they put the helmet popping off in the game, then it would have to be like the real life rule, where if your helmet pops off, you're automatically out for the next play.
Right.
Then some
adds a new cool dynamic to the game.
Then some losers, some PC losers, come and try to ruin the game. They're like, "Oh, we're gonna sue you because of concussions."
Dude, and you know what? I'm sorry, but the people who worry about concussions so much are fucking pussies. And
it honestly,
honest to God, truth. Because you know what? Injuries happen in sports. It doesn't matter what sport it is.
Exactly.
It happens in baseball, dude. And baseball's a non-contact sport now.
You know what? Honestly, I think it's ridiculous because, like, people know what they're getting into when they play football. If you don't like it, don't play the damn sport. Also, why aren't they going after rugby? They have no pads. They don't have a helmet. They can get concussions much easier than NFL players.
You see less injuries in rugby now than you do in the NFL because they're not wearing pads. Because there's not that extra bulk on them. Honest God, if the NFL went no pads, just straight tackle, I'd be all for it, 100%.
I just hate because it's literally ruining the league. Like this 25-yard rule now, where the ball's placed at 25. Like seriously, like this is.
Yeah, but that's been a rule for the last like 2 years, hasn't it?
No, it's coming up. This is coming up this year. It'll be placed at the 25. Like I don't know why they like consistently.
It doesn't make sense. They are shortening the field so much because first they moved the ball up for kickoffs from the 35 to the 40, right?
But there was no problem. I know, but that's what I'm saying. There was no problem with the ball being placed at the 20. There was no problem with the ball being kicked from the 30. There was no problem with any of that. Here's
another thing that pisses me off. These players are getting paid more than any other player has ever been paid. Like any classic player has ever been paid for playing football. They didn't bitch about it back then. Now all of a sudden, these guys are prima donnas. All sports players are turning into prima donnas nowadays.
No, I agree. But it's because
the only sports I can tell that they like, there are some prima donnas in baseball, but they don't last long at all. There are some prima donnas in hockey. They don't last very long.
Well, hockey players don't make near as much.
There are prima donnas in soccer, but they're allowed to be prima donnas because that's part of the sport apparently. But
honestly,
in the NFL and the NBA, two things that piss me off is that the superstars are prima donnas and they're afraid of getting hurt for one, and if they have to do anything extracurricular wise, they bitch about it.
I mean, obviously, the reason they make more money than the people back then is because the sport is bigger. Like honestly, like the athletes that make the
so like why now they're gonna start bitching about it when they're making more money.
I mean, the athlete
association ruins the game sometimes.
Well, here's my thing though. The reason why they're shortening the field is because their theory behind it is, and here I have two things here. Their theory behind it is that let's shorten the field, put it at the 25, so that when you do a touchback, you're more likely to do a touchback now because hey,
player safety,
I can either run for 15 to 20 yards and get hit, or I can get 25 for doing nothing, which promotes player safety.
Yeah,
but it also when you shorten the field, you heighten the chance of a touchdown. Touchdowns bring money. People want to see touchdowns. They don't care about anything else.
I know, and that's gonna ruin the touch. I'll let you go, Keelan, because I know you really have to say something. But like now, the ball being placed at the 25 on top of players because of player safety and whatever, which I think is ridiculous. Like they already moved the kick forward. Whatever. What pisses me off now is now we're not going to see those explosive, really cool plays where they're going to run out of the end zone like 109 yards and run it back for a touchdown. We're not going to see that anymore because they know, I can just I'll get the ball at the 25, we'll be fine. But go ahead, Keelan. I know you have something to say.
Well, and see, that's the fact that the game is becoming more offensive it's going to ruin the game. Because there are plenty of people out there, true football fans, not the bandwagon, I like the Seahawks now, or I like the Panthers now.
Mm-hmm.
The true football fans are out there going, cool, a team scores every fucking 5 minutes. Like, it's not fun after a while. It's like if you put the game on rookie mode in Madden and you just destroy the computer.
Kick the shit out of them, yeah.
You get bored of it. And I think that's why my love for football it's not gone, but it's been fading the last couple of years because between the Players Association and Roger Goodell, the game's becoming a shit show.
I just think they need to tone back on changing a ton of rules every year. There's just, it needs to stop. It, really needs to stop.
There hasn't been a year without a new rule that has impacted the game majorly.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not going to completely blame the NFL for this. This is partly due, and I hope
the owners too, because the owners are just worried about their money and their investment.
And it's not just the owners too. I hope somebody who's one of those concussion, player safety tryhards is watching this podcast because you are single-handedly making it, or not making, but more influencing the NFL, the commissioners, and everybody else vote for decisions to make the game more safe, which in turn makes the game less fun.
Well, and add on that,
players. Go ahead.
A report came out for the Heads Up Football program that the NFL does to reduce concussions for youth football players.
Yeah.
Didn't do jack shit.
Yep. And
jack shit. The report came out and said there has not been any change in concussions the way they have treated, because they just happen.
Yeah.
No one wants to get a concussion. No one goes into a football game going, "Can we get a fucking concussion today?" No.
Literally the only reason happens. Yeah, the only reason that thing was they're like, just don't lower your head when you're running the ball. Lower your head if you're tackling somebody.
If anything, not teaching someone to lower their head is making sure they don't become paralyzed, not making sure they don't have a concussion.
Exactly.
I watched some kid on my midget football team, safety, was trying to make an open field tackle, completely froze. Kid ran him over. The defender got the concussion, not the running back.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Player safety is important, but there's a point where you take it too far.
Well, and here's my thing. What's to say that they won't come up with a rule where you can't blindside a quarterback now?
Oh,
they're probably...
It's on the verge of that. It's on the verge of...
You know what I mean? You can't tell me that it's not been thought of that, hey, you got a quarterback lined up like this, and fucking Ndamukong Suh just comes through the line and just destroys him.
I mean, you can't touch anybody anyway because if you make a huge hit and the crowd just goes silent and it wasn't helmet to helmet, but it was a vicious, clean hit, they'll still call a damn penalty.
Yeah, there's vicious hits where the helmet hits the pads and it just sounds like helmet to helmet and they throw a flag.
Even if you just spear the hell out of somebody, nail them, they will call a penalty for unnecessary roughness.
Here's another thing that pisses me off. They don't call the rule fairly sometimes. If it's a superstar that gets hit, they'll pull the flag every time. If it's a rookie or a one-year guy, they won't.
Here's my thing too. You remember last year in that Josh Norman Odell Beckham thing?
Yeah.
When Odell Beckham fucking took off and helmeted him?
Yeah.
After the play was over for 20 seconds? He didn't get shit for it until after the game when he got suspended.
That's because Odell Beckham...
Referees have such a bias in the game today to superstars, it's ridiculous.
It's because Odell Beckham, he's honestly he was the most popular player that year. You can't say he wasn't. He's one of the most popular.
This was his second year.
Yeah, I know. But like I said, who knew Odell Beckham for his receiving yards, before, his catch, that miraculous.
Fans who knew him and Landry Jones were beasts at LSU, but that's not who watches the NFL anymore. It's just people it's true NFL football fans who introduce their girlfriends, and then their girlfriends see some dude get laid the fuck out, and they go, "Oh my God, why do they allow that?"
Go watch tennis. God. All right, I think we're talking too much. I think we need to move on.
Yeah. Maybe a little bit. No, so basically, another thing that I wanted to talk about, with some of the few like special team stuff going on now. We're looking at icing the kicker. We're looking at, trick plays. We're looking at
long overdue
blocking kicks. Overdue.
I mean, let's be honest. Trick plays were in Madden before. Why'd they take them out? Yeah. Why did they take the good parts of the game out? It makes no sense. Icing the kicker was in the game. Icing the kicker was in NCAA too. Why did they take it out? It makes no sense because it happens in the game today. Why did they take it out?
Probably one of my best and favorite features that would make me a little pumped for Madden 17 is the fact that you can't automatically hit field goals anymore. Apparently, that it's much harder, and it actually
because you see last year higher number of missed field goals now that they moved it back to the 35 for the PAT too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really the extra point rule. I don't really care. I
agree with the extra point rule because how many times at the end of a game someone scores a touchdown and it's like, oh, well, they tied it. They're going to tie it up because the PAT is basically automatic. Well, now it adds the fact that it adds to the value of a kicker.
I'm not against it. I actually like it because I like
the extra point. You know how people go for extra point? They need to move. I think they need to move back to the 5 or the 10. To be honest.
I like watching the Steelers because I think we were the team that did try the most 2-point conversions that year. I mean, every time we scored.
That's what I'm saying. They need to move if they move the PAT back. They need to move the extra point back. I mean, if you're going to keep it on the what is it, the 1.5 or 2 yard line?
It's on the 2.
I think it's the 2.
It's the 2.
It doesn't make sense because 99% of the not 99%, but you saw a big increase in teams just going for 2 last year because their kicker missed a 35-yarder in the beginning of the game, and after that the Eagles, for example, Caleb Sturgis early in the year because he had the fucking jitters. Dude missed 2 in a game, and then for the next 3 weeks we just went for 2 instead of going for the PAT.
Trust me, I know about all about bad kickers, man. Josh Scobie, what a garbage kicker. Glad he's gone. That was horrible. That was before Boswell came to Pittsburgh. That whole kicker fiasco at the beginning of the season was just awful.
That's what I'm saying. If you're going to move the PAT back, you got to move the the extra point back too to make it a little more risky instead of teams just going, oh shit, and it adds a new dynamic to the game. It makes games at the end more exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I
think the PAT rule should have been moved back a long time ago, but that was just me.
It just, it did its job. I mean, they wanted more 2-point conversion attempts. I mean, it did its job. The only time you would convert or try to go for a 2-point is if you were down by 8 and you score a touchdown. Oh, I got to go for it.
I think they need to move it back to the 5 or the 10. I think the 10 might be a little extreme because then no one will run the ball. They're going to pass it no matter what. But I think if you move it back to the 5, it gives the defense a fair chance, and it makes the offense have to work a little.
See, my thing about the whole special teams area is that why did Madden take out icing the kicker? Why did they take out being able to block? You could not block a kick in Madden 16.
And that's the thing. I don't understand it because we saw a big increase in blocked kicks last year, too. Guys jumping. They need to add jumping over the line. I mean, how many guys could time it and jump over the line?
I mean, the Browns lost the game to the Ravens last year because they got their field goal blocked and they ran it back for a touchdown. It's awesome seeing those videos on YouTube. Just
there was a preseason kick return on a blocked kick just this year.
All these features are coming back from NCAA 2014 because I remember 2014 they brought back you could block kicks in NCAA and icing the kicker was in the game. I mean, it's basic stuff like that Madden leaves out that really frustrates people because it makes the game very monotonous. You don't feel like once a guy scores a touchdown and he ties the game, it's like, okay, well, I just got to get ready for offense now. You're not thinking, oh my God, I could block this kick and then I still win the game.
Yeah, I get really bored being ManofBing all the time. It just would be cool to excite.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. What it feels like. It feels like you take if you take a boxing match, and every time someone throws you hold the people's hands down, while the other person punches someone, and then they hold their hands down, the other person punches someone. It just feels like a slugfest going back and forth scoring touchdowns. It doesn't feel like a football game. It feels like, oh, if I don't score here, I just lost.
It feels like an arcade game.
Who doesn't want to see unblocked punches in a boxing match? That's good. I'd love to see that.
Well, some people like defense, like me.
I do like defense. I didn't say that. In boxing, like if we were in a box, if I saw a boxing match, like I want to see people not defend. They're getting hit in the face.
Now,
like,
here's something. What do you guys think? Have you guys seen the gameplay trailer where it shows Gronk taking that weird ass toss to him during the kick, and he runs it in for a touchdown? Have you seen that?
no.
Where he like runs up and grabs it and then runs for the touchdown? Or?
Yeah, on a kick. It's like field goal or something like that, and they hike it to the placeholder.
Oh,
and he tosses it to Gronk, and Gronk runs over and just fucking goes in for a touchdown.
I think they actually did that last year.
Here's my thing too. I also saw one where it was the place kick or the placeholder. He
Well, you know what it sounds like to me? It sounds like they're like the very basic punt pass trick play or the 2 field goal trick plays, the one's a pass and the other one's a run and that's it. I think they're adding more diversity to that to make it more effective. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to talk, since you mentioned Gronk, I want to talk about something. I don't doubt that he's a great tight end. I think all his battle armor should be illegal. Yeah, I call it battle armor because he's got a full damn arm brace that he wears every game that he does not need. Literally, like, he wears...
No, he wears that because that's the arm he broke in, like, the Super Bowl or whatever.
He tore his arm muscles. Or he tore his tendons or whatever.
I don't care, but you see, like, no, this is another thing I'm talking about. Like, after, like, a player gets injured, like, they will continue to wear whatever piece because even if they don't need it, they can just they can just use it to their advantage. Like, honestly, like, you don't see, like, and there are some people.
It's not banned in the NFL. They would, if it honestly meant that much more of an advantage, it would be banned. And
yeah, but look at J.J. Watt's arm sleeve.
I don't agree.
Look at Jason Pierre-Paul with his club, dude. He fucking.
Well, yeah, but but he doesn't have a choice. J.J. Watt and Gronk do. Like,
what do you mean he doesn't have a choice? His hand's fully healed.
Well, yeah, he's missing fingers.
Whose fault is that?
Obviously his fault, but I mean, if I'm missing fingers, I mean, I'm not gonna.
He shouldn't be able to use a damn club unless he's active.
You're right, but that's that's same thing for Gronk and J.J. Watt. They can use their brace. Like, that's like you see them all the time.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think the players nowadays, like I said, prima donnas.
They will actually wear anything they can to help them. Like, there are players that don't need some of the stuff they wear, but they wear it anyway because they know it'll help them in truck people. Like I said, Gronk and J.J. Watt are 2 good examples. I mean, Jason Pierre-Paul, I guess you can make an argument for him because he's missing fingers, but he could use it at the club. I mean, like.
But like that thing is huge. Like it's not just a club protecting his hand. It's like. This
yeah, right. I know,
dude, and he uses the swim move with it all the time.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Now that we're done talking about special teams, though, let's move on to the commentary. Now, there's been a lot of buzz that the commentary is going to be brand new. They're adding a new team. They're also going to be recording stuff throughout the season
all right,
to make it more lifelike. How do you feel about that?
Can I say hallelujah? We don't have to listen to fucking Phil Simms anymore.
Yeah,
Jim Nantz too. Fuck.
Fucking Christ. Jim Nantz and Phil Simms make my fucking mind melt when I hear them go, and it's up for a pass, and it's a touchdown, and it's like their voice when they record this sounds like, God, I want to fucking die right now. I don't want to be recording my voice for Madden. Just give me my check and I can leave the building. That's what it sounds like.
I miss Madden and.
I wish it was Madden. Well, it was Madden and
Madden like 11 when the guy like was like all enthusiastic about the touchdowns and like when big plays happened. I forget his name.
Yeah.
Was it Butch Davis or whatever his name was?
I can't remember.
Al Davis. No, that's the guy that owned the Raiders. Who's the fucking co-host
Gus
with Madden? Fuck, I don't remember.
He'd be like, Chris Johnson would break a tackle, and because he actually said it in a game, it would say, he's got to get away from the cop speed. Do you remember that?
Yeah, there's so many good commentators that they could use, but they don't. Like, who's that? I forget his name. He's a basketball commentator, and he's also a football commentator. He does it on CBS. I forget his damn name.
Dick Vitale?
I don't remember. It might be.
No, it's not Dick Vitale.
No, it's not. He's a really good football commentator. He's like, I don't know. You gotta look him up. Like he only does CBS though. But like I really like almost all the CBS commentators. I also liked it usually when it was Al Michaels and John Madden. Like,
Al Michaels, that's his name.
Al Michaels does Sunday Night Football with Chris. What's his name?
Chris Berman.
No, Chris Berman does Monday Night Football. It's Chris something. I forget his name. I used to remember all the time.
See, I'm pretty excited for the
he used to play wide receiver.
The
for
updated
the
commentary weekly anyway, because I think that's a really cool idea to include that in update patches and stuff like that. I think that's a really good idea. It keeps the commentary fresh.
I think the variety of commentary at the end of the season.
I still would like some more features. Like I still think like there should be like a halftime show. I think there should be like a ESPN.
They've added halftime animations now.
Well, no, it's not a good like they always have halftime shows. But like, I wish there was also like an ESPN type show. I wish there was like so much
Talking
more.
about halftime shows and everything. Can we talk about something real quick? Why does it seem when I win the Super Bowl Madden, it's like, oh yay! Like it's not. It doesn't feel like a real Super Bowl celebration. It just feels very generic.
It's the same animation every year.
It's just yeah, exactly.
And for NHL too, like they do the same thing for NHL.
They need to make either different animations for different teams, or just have like 5 different animations that are played every so often.
Agreed. Yeah. All right, guys. Let's start wrapping this podcast up now. There's a segment I thought of today. Players or teams you're excited to play with this year with the new features. The new running animations, maybe. The toned down aggressive catches. The toned down catches, blocking kicks, icing the kicker, defense improvements. What teams are you most excited to play with this year, other than maybe your favorites?
I'm not playing as any other team unless I'm forced to. So I mean, that's unfortunate. I'm not gonna be able to play as any other team.
Well, yeah, but I mean, with me and you, we usually do the randomizer thing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I guess since the Panthers are like gods, or I could play as the Detroit Lions because they're like an 86 overall or something like that. You know, because they're gods.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. This is gonna sound really bad to me, but probably the Redskins.
Wow, that takes a lot to admit.
I mean, no, because out of all the teams in the NFC East, I think the Eagles and the Redskins rivalries really toned down. The only reason it's kind of up there now is because of Deshaun Jackson. I got 2 teams: Redskins and the Buffalo Bills.
Tyrod Taylor,
LaShawn McCoy, Sammy Watkins is back. What's his name? Charles Clay. And then on defense,
Mario Williams,
Stephon Gilmore. Mario Williams isn't with the Bills anymore, dude.
Is he not?
Mm-mm.
Oh, wow.
I'll tell you here's a couple teams I'm excited to play with. The Texans defense, definitely. Devonta Freeman.
Oh my God, Jadeveon Clowney and J.J. Watt.
Oh, yeah, dude. Devonta Freeman, Brian Cushing's there, too. I'm excited to play with Devonta Freeman, Ezekiel Elliott, Todd Gurley, RG3. I'm actually kind of excited to check out the new rookies, Wentz and Goff. But I'd say teams I'm looking forward to playing as will probably be the Browns, kind of. The Texans.
Honestly, I think if RG3 comes out and shows us he's his old self and, he's coming into a new system, it's going to be hard for him to learn at first. But if he comes out world on fire like we know RG3 can play, and he's not afraid to play football anymore, I think the Browns are going to be dangerous this year.
Dude, I'm fine. I'm fine with playing RG3 2 times a year. I'm good with it. If they want to give us 2 free wins, I don't think he's going to do shit.
Surprisingly enough, a surprise team that you guys might not have thought of, I'm actually excited to play with the Jaguars this year.
Because of Blake Bortles, Allen Hurns, Allen Robinson,
Chris Ivory,
TJ Yeldon.
Oakland Raiders. Oh, my God, I want to play with the Raiders so bad.
Oh, yeah, Raiders would be a good one.
Eric Carr, Cooper, Latavius Murray.
We'd like to point out that Keelan is a Eagles fan. just $10 Johnny Manziel jersey. How could you pass that one up?
It's true.
Party guy. This is a college shirt.
Party guy. That's why you got your
This is a
gold chain.
college
Did you buy that gold chain from Johnny too?
No, he fucking needs all the money he can right now since he's unemployed.
Yeah.
He probably got a pretty big rookie contract though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he'll be fine. Well, actually, no, he'll just spend it all by like.
Did you hear he said he wanted to play for the Cowboys? The Cowboys were like, "Skrrr."
Yeah, but
Johnny Manziel's like that girl in the bar that you want to pick up, and then you realize how much of a dirty skank she is.
No, she's like the. It's like you. The only way you'll realize how good Johnny Manziel is if you're fucking six, fucking drinks deep.
It just shows you how different college and NFL is. Like
he's the drunk Tim Tebow.
College.
To be fair, I don't think Johnny Manziel got a fair chance in Cleveland. But also, the problem with him right now isn't his football ability. It's the fact that he's so fucked in the head right now.
That's his fault.
And you know what? There's players that, look at Ricky Williams. Dude could have had a Hall of Fame career, but he's fucked himself in the head, basically, and thinks that weed is more important than making a paycheck playing football.
Does that sound like two players on the Steelers? Yes, it does.
Yeah, you gotta watch out. Le'Veon Bell might fall down.
All right, you know what? Fuck Le'Veon. I don't care about him. He's not D'Angelo. Whatever. Screw it.
Running back you've had since
Jerome Bettis.
Cadillac Williams.
Parker was pretty fucking good for you guys.
Willie Parker? Yeah, I know Parker was. Parker started playing after Bettis retired.
Yeah.
But Parker Mendenhall was okay.
And then I remember you guys drafted Michael LaShore, thought he was going to be an all-star, and he turned out to be a dud.
Then he went to the Lions.
We had Rashard Mendenhall. He fumbled all the time.
Yeah. Yo, remember when Rashard Mendenhall was a beast in college?
He was an okay running back on our team. He just fumbled at the worst times. Like in the Super Bowl against the Packers, he had like 2 fumbles. Like I remember he fumbled the ball.
The biggest thing the Steelers ever did was get rid of Garrett Blount.
Oh, fuck with Garrett.
The dude's a beast.
He is a beast. Third down back. Oh yeah.
He's a beast.
We replaced LeGarrette Blount. I don't give a fuck about LeGarrette Blount. Like we have Bell, we have Williams. We don't need LeGarrette Blount because he's gonna ask for a big contract because he's a starting running back, or he's at least.
But he was with you guys as a backup and he was perfectly fine. Then you guys cut him because he smoked weed, but you kept Le'Veon Bell.
He's a backup now too.
All right, well, but who's better, LeGarrette Blount or Le'Veon Bell? Like
Le'Veon Bell,
of course. Yeah. But still, like, could you imagine LeGarrette Blount and Le'Veon Bell on the same field? You guys, your run game would be unstoppable. It would.
D'Angelo Williams and Le'Veon Bell in the same field. We just can't see that because
how good D'Angelo Williams is going to be until you actually gave him a chance to play.
It's true.
Yeah,
well, anyway, guys, I think we kind of need to move on here to the end of the podcast. This is all the time we have for you guys tonight, but thank you for watching. At ManofBing and at Steelers8034, thank you for being here. Let's wrap this up. This has been an episode of Hard Luck Real Talk, where we give you the realest talk on the internet. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channels. And what do you got to say?
Fuck the Bengals!
All right. Peace out, guys. Thanks. And don't forget to stay awesome.